North Korea launched a long-range ballistic missile toward the East Sea this morning on the heels of firing off a short-range one on Sunday night. South Korea's commander-in-chief orders an immediate, overwhelming response to any provocations by the North, seeking a joint response with the United States and Japan on the missile data sharing system. Meanwhile, in Seoul, colorful sculptures light up the heart of the South Korean capital to spice up the season's festivities. We take you to the Seoul Winter Festa 2023. It's December 18th, 2023. This is Newscenter. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Min. We begin with a fresh round of provocations by Pyongyang. North Korea launched an ICBM this morning in the space of less than 12 hours since it fired a short-range one last night. This comes after South Korea-U.S. nuclear consultative talks in Washington over the weekend on how to respond to Pyongyang's nuclear threat together. Our foreign affairs correspondent Min Min-jae reports.
At about 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning, North Korea launched what appeared to be an intercontinental ballistic missile toward waters off its east coast. The South Korean military said it was launched from an area near Pyongyang at a high angle and flew about 1,000 kilometers before landing in the East Sea. It said South Korea, the U.S., and Japan had been maintaining full defense readiness and added that warning data on the latest missile was shared between the three countries. This marks the North's fifth ICBM launch this year, the highest number in a single year. It last tested an ICBM less than 6 months ago, the second test of a solid-fuel Hwasong-18 in July, after conducting the first in April. The South Korean military reportedly believes Monday's missile could have been another test launch of the North's Hwasong-18. Japan's defense ministry also said the latest missile's flight time and trajectory is similar to that of the solid-fuel Hwasong-18 ICBM launched in July. It added that if it was fired on a normal trajectory instead of a high angle, it could have flown more than 15,000 kilometers, long enough to strike the U.S. mainland. Monday's launch came less than 12 hours after the North fired a short-range ballistic missile the night before. Launched at about 10:30 p.m. on Sunday night, it flew about 570 kilometers before falling into the East Sea. North Korea's consecutive missile launches appear to be an apparent protest against the Second Nuclear Consultative Group, or NCG, meeting held in Washington, where South Korea and the U.S. officials agreed to conduct nuclear operation exercises in next year's joint military training to deter Pyongyang's nuclear and missile threats. The North Korean Defense Ministry earlier on Sunday strongly criticized the outcome of this meeting, saying this is yet another sign of efforts to streamline war planning and a threat of a potential nuclear weapons attack against the regime. Min-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea's commander-in-chief was quick to call for an immediate response against North Korea's threats at a National Security Council meeting and underscored the need for a proactive joint response with Washington and Tokyo. Our defense correspondent Kim Min-jae has more.
President Yoon has ordered an immediate, overwhelming response against North Korea's latest missile provocation. During an emergency meeting of the National Security Council presided over by National Security Advisor Jo Tae-yong on Monday, Yoon demanded that South Korea pushes for a proactive joint response with the U.S. and Japan by utilizing the real-time information sharing system for North Korean missiles. The three countries had agreed on a trilateral real-time system at the Camp David summit in August, with aims of boosting trilateral security cooperation against evolving North Korean threats starting from the end of 2023. Meanwhile, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff on Monday strongly condemned North Korea's ICBM launch and urged the regime to stop its, quote, reckless provocative actions immediately.
Despite repeated warnings from our military, North Korea continues to carry out threatening provocations. We once again sternly warn North Korea that it is solely responsible for all subsequent events.
The national security advisors of South Korea, the U.S., and Japan also condemned the ICBM launch during phone talks and discussed joint response measures. South Korea's presidential office said that the three underscored the importance of strengthening security cooperation through sharing missile warning data. The White House echoed those sentiments and called the test a flagrant violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. A U.S. State Department spokesperson also reportedly criticized the ballistic missile launches, saying that they violate multiple UNSC resolutions. Kim Min-jae, Arirang News.
On the local political front, current chief trade negotiator An Deok-gun was named as the Minister for Trade, Industry and Energy in the latest cabinet reshuffle ahead of next April's general election. And there could soon be a major reshuffle at diplomatic and national security posts. Our top office correspondent Kim Do-yeon explains.
President Yoon Suk-yeol has nominated current Trade Minister An Deok-gun as the Minister for Trade, Industry and Energy. The announcement came on Sunday amid a cabinet reshuffle in recent weeks, with incumbent ministers and top secretaries leaving their posts to run for parliament next April. Prior to becoming Trade Minister, An was a professor at Graduate School of International Studies at Seoul National University. He was also involved in multiple South Korean trade negotiations.
The candidate is an expert in international trade, well versed in both theory and practice, and currently serves as the Minister for Trade. He is demonstrating outstanding capabilities in meticulously addressing a variety of trade issues.
An also acknowledged that he understands industry in South Korea well, while also acknowledging the current fast-changing global environment.
I'll leverage the global network I have established as the nation's top trade representative to communicate more closely with businesses. I'll do my utmost to ensure that our companies can lead innovation and grow dynamically in the global market.
The nomination comes just 3 months after incumbent Minister Bang Mun-gyu took up the post, as Bang will likely be running for parliament and general elections in April. Justice Minister Han Dong-un, a key man in the Yoon administration and a close confidant of the president, is also getting attention amid public calls for him to jump into politics as the deadline for a decision draws near. All public officials need to resign from their posts before January 11th under the Public Official Election Act if they would like to apply for candidacy for the general elections. In the meantime, there will be a major reshuffle undertaken by the top office at diplomatic and national security posts, with changes being made as soon as Monday. According to an official, some posts won't be changed, but candidates are being reviewed for certain posts. According to reports, this includes the Foreign Affairs Minister and National Security Advisor, as the current advisor Cho Tae-yong may be nominated to fill up the vacancy as leader of the National Intelligence Service. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
The number of employed foreign nationals in South Korea reached a record 923,000 as of May this year, up 9.5% from a year earlier. According to an official from Statistics Korea on Monday, this was largely driven by a rise in unskilled workers on E9 visas and international students gaining employment after South Korea entered the endemic phase. More than half were under 30 years old, and around half earned a monthly average income of around 2 million won, or around $1,500. The number of foreign residents aged 15 or above rose nearly 10% on year, also reaching a new high. A Novavax vaccine targeting the XBB variant will be available from today. That's according to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency. The Novavax vaccine, unlike Moderna or Pfizer, is developed using genetic recombination technology similar to influenza vaccines. Individuals aged 65 or above who may have either experienced side effects from previous vaccines or were advised not to have them due to existing health conditions are recommended to consider taking the Novavax vaccine. In the meantime, 9,600 doses of the new Pfizer COVID-19 XBB.1.5 vaccine for infants and children arrived on Monday. Reservations begin on December 26th, and the vaccine is free nationwide starting from January 8th next year. Over in the Middle East, the Israeli army says that it had discovered the biggest Hamas tunnel in the Gaza Strip so far. In the meantime, a second border crossing into Gaza has opened for humanitarian aid. Chung Eun-ju has the latest.
The Israeli Defense Forces said Sunday it had discovered the biggest Hamas tunnel in the Gaza Strip so far. The entrance to the tunnel is located a few hundred meters from the heavily fortified Erez crossing and a nearby Israeli military base. Israel's chief military spokesperson Daniel Hagari put the full length of the tunnel at 4 kilometers. The military noted that the tunnel ran diagonally downward to a depth of 50 meters, where it expanded to a relatively capacious 3 meters in height and width. It had electrical fixtures and was connected to a sprawling tunnel network across Gaza. The IDF said it would have cost millions of dollars and taken years to construct, adding that the project was led by the brother of the Hamas chief. Disabling underground passages and bunkers is among the aims of the offensive Israel launched after Hamas's October 7th attacks. Meanwhile, a Palestinian border official confirmed that the Kerem Shalom crossing between Israel and Gaza opened on Sunday for aid trucks to enter the Strip for the first time since the outbreak of war. The move is intended to double the amount of food and medicine reaching the enclave. The official said part of the aid had arrived in Gaza by Sunday night, while the rest would be there on Monday. The Kerem Shalom crossing had been closed after the October 7th attack by Hamas. Since then, aid has been delivered solely through Gaza's Rafah crossing with Egypt, which Israel said could only accommodate the entry of 100 trucks per day. Kerem Shalom, on the border of Egypt, Israel, and Gaza, is one of the main transit points for goods in and out of the Palestinian enclave, allowing for much faster transit than the Rafah passenger crossing a few kilometers away. Israel approved the entry of aid last week as the United Nations and other world bodies have been increasingly warning of the worsening humanitarian situation in Gaza. Chung Eun-ju, Arirang News.
Back in this country, with the 2024 Gwanghwamun Winter Youth Olympics set to commence in a month, much is being done here to ensure a safe and successful hosting of the event. Shin Se-byuk takes a look.
South Korea is pulling out all the stops to ensure a safe and successful hosting of the 2024 Gwanghwamun Winter Youth Olympics just a month away. Relevant government officials and members of the ruling People Power Party met on Monday and analyzed the work underway for the Games, stressing the significance of thorough preparation.
To quickly address on-site needs, we've set up a command centre. We've also assigned general managers for each venue to better manage on-site situations.
Safety remains the biggest concern. That being said, some 250 medical personnel will be deployed at 13 locations, including the Athletes Village and competition venues. The command center will run an on-site response team for infectious diseases and implement a crowd control system to respond to all potential challenges. The organizer also vowed to tackle all conceivable issues ranging from freezing conditions to even bedbugs. With regards to culture, a diverse array of programs has been curated, featuring events such as a DJ skate night, lessons from Olympians, and snow tube riding. Culture Minister Yoon shared plans for on-air programs and YouTube videos showcasing the global sports event. For the convenience of athletes and spectators, 150 free shuttle buses will connect major transportation hubs in host cities and sports venues. From January 19th, around 1,900 athletes will participate in the 2024 Winter Youth Olympics for 2 weeks in Gangwon Province, the first time the event is being held in Asia. Shin Se-byuk, Arirang News.
Today it was freezing cold, but even the cold can't stop the Iran vibes. The annual Seoul Winter Festa has kicked off in the heart of the city, and the city is lit up in pretty colors. Our Choi Soo-young went to see for herself.
A lightning ceremony is brightening up the winter nights in downtown Seoul. Gwanghwamun Square is illuminated with lights for Christmas and New Year. The 15th Seoul Winter Festa opened on Friday, December 15th. Sculptures such as the Blue Dragon, representing the coming year, and the turtle ship of Korean Admiral Lee Sun-shin fill the square. The media art exhibition Seoul Light, which colored Dongdaemun Digital Plaza last fall, is being shown onto Gyeongbokgung Palace's walls. A Christmas market, inspired by Europe, has also been set up. With 83 booths, nearly twice as many as last year, you can enjoy traditional Korean craft items, products, and street food.
I think it's pretty similar. Usually they're, especially in northern Italy, they're a bit bigger maybe, and they sell local products and lots of artisanal things. But I guess like the vibe is the same with Christmas lights and wooden cabins. Similar.
That's right. Maybe in Italy there's more food oriented. Yeah, because the food is really big in Italy, a big thing. So here, but I can see a lot of artisan things too. So it's kind of similar. Like it's good vibe, and Christmas vibe is really nice.
The nearby Cheonggyecheon stream also sparkles brightly with the theme of White Night in Seoul.
I came for a trip and suddenly found a beautiful place. I felt really happy, and the Christmas vibes make it even better. There are lots of things here that people seem to enjoy, and I like.
The highlight of the Seoul Winter Festa is the countdown event on the last day of the year. This year, simultaneous events will take place at Posinggak Pavilion, Gwanghwamun Square, and Dongdaemun Design Plaza for people from around the world to enjoy together. The festa will run until January 21st. Seoul City plans to make Gwanghwamun Square a world-famous countdown spot like New York's Times Square or the Sydney Opera House. Jeju, Arirang News.
Time now to take a look at what's been happening in this world of sports. Joining us is our sports editor, Paul Need. Welcome back, Paul.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Let's first start with football. The first goal in Germany for Kim Min-jae.
Yes, a goal and an assist actually for Kim Min-jae on Sunday. They came in Bayern Munich's 3-0 home win over VfB Stuttgart. For the goal, Kim headed in a corner taken by Alexander Pavlovich with just over an hour played. It was Kim's first goal since joining the Bundesliga giants from Napoli in the summer. He also got an assist, would you believe, the centre-back, teeing up Harry Kane in the 55th minute. Kim thought he opened the scoring midway through the first half, but his header was chalked off for offside. Korean forward Yoon came on for the last 30 minutes for Stuttgart for a Korean derby of sorts.
And staying with football, the captain of Luton Town, Tom Lockyer, collapsed during a game. What happened?
Yeah, well, the latest on him is that he is in stable condition after suffering an on-pitch cardiac arrest on Saturday. But according to the newspaper, the Telegraph in England, the cause is unknown and he's still in hospital undergoing tests. This is actually his second collapse this year. The first came in the playoff final in May due to a type of heart arrhythmia. He had surgery and was then given the all clear this summer, but doctors still don't know what caused the second collapse. It happened during Luton Town's away fixture with Bournemouth, and he suddenly fell to the ground. The score was level at 1-1 early in the second half, at which point the game was abandoned.
Wishing him well in his recovery. And moving on to short track speed skating World Cup. A clean sweep in the women's 1,500-meter titles for one Korean teen sensation.
Yes, that's right. 19-year-old Kim Ki-lee here in Seoul too, no less. She won both 1,500-meter finals, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. She'd never won before two individual titles like this at a single World Cup event, but she has won at least one gold medal in all of the four previous World Cup events this season and is top of the overall standings with a points total of 865. Meanwhile, also at the ISU World Cup, 31-year-old So Ira on Sunday came out of retirement to win a silver medal in the men's 500 metres. The last time he won any individual medal in any sort of international competition was at the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. He had retired after the 2019-20 season to begin coaching, but then made a U-turn last year after being inspired by his former teammates at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. There have been some relay medals since then, but this was his first win on his own.
And finally, a first World Cup title for snowboarder Jeolla-do.
Yes, the 15-year-old on Saturday in Colorado won the women's halfpipe gold medal at the FIS Snowboard World Cup. She earned a score of 92.75 points, 2.75 points ahead of Mitsuki Ono of Japan. Che is the first South Korean snowboarder in 2 years to win a World Cup gold medal. It was also her first senior World Cup event. In January this year, she became the youngest Superpipe champion in X Games history at just 14 years and 3 months. Elsewhere, Lee Chae-eun won silver in the men's halfpipe with 80 points.
All right, thanks for that, Paul. See you next time.
Thank you.
As the Arctic cold wave rages on, the sub-zero cold has continued throughout the day. With a cold wave warning issued in Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do provinces, Seoul will start tomorrow morning at -7 degrees Celsius, which will be slightly higher than today, but still freezing cold. There will be a snow forecast mainly in the western parts of the country tomorrow. Jeju Island and the coastlines of Jeolla-do provinces are expected to have snow from tonight. Also, the central parts of the country will have snow forecast from tomorrow afternoon. The expected amount of snow is up to 15 centimeters in mountainous areas of Jeju Island and 1 to 7 in the Seoul metropolitan area. The western parts of the country will have frequent snow until late in the week. Most regions will be under icy cold temperatures. Seoul will start at -7. Maximum temperatures in Seoul will reach only 2 degrees. Gwangju and Daegu, 6 degrees Celsius. In particular, morning temperatures in Seoul will plunge to -14 degrees Celsius on Thursday, with the coldest weather expected this winter. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session coming up.